Hello guys, this is a series of videos I was thinking about doing. Like maybe I wanted to do this yesterday on Sunday and by the end of the weekend, and maybe try to do it weekly or bi-weekly. I don't know if I can keep up with this, and I'm also trying to keep up with working a bit on the Bizarro Untergrund project, and I really need to make it so that I work, I don't know, 1 or 2 evenings per week. I'm doing other things too. That's why. Maybe more, 2 or 3 evenings, and maybe I'll do more. But there were times I wasn't even working even for months on this thing. So if for 2 3 evenings I can kinda try to work something, that would be good. But I thought it would be good if I also gave a short progress report, like by the end of the week, probably on Sunday, if I can point out the things I did, and maybe I'll show little code and little design consideration and where it is now and what I'm planning to do. Well, probably not much. Also, the alternative thought is if I could also code a bit something on it. Or maybe it will be just be progress. And last time on the Discord, I showed things I did with I implemented mouse controls, but there is still a lot of things to implement. I need to implement different control schemes, put some options for mouse sensitivity. The only thing I have is the invert now, and I think this will go. There will be an options menu here. I'll design this different. Probably I might even think if I can design some or find some more Doom-like fonts for the menu. This was just an empty screen for the game jam this was taking part. It's very poor. I'm gonna put level 3, probably also full screen. Level 3 because it's the shortest level. It's loading a bit. This is something else I'm planning. It's on the plans to change. This is calculating the lighting, and there is goal to refactor the data structure so that it includes the lighting when I load it. Okay, hold it. Why is it loud? Something happened. Something happened with the volume. I put it anyway. I'm not doing this again. I paused the video 3 times and I did it again because something startled me. Something didn't work and I was ranting and I'm like, okay, I'm making a video that should be 2 minutes into 10 minutes. Stop. But this time I'm not gonna stop. So this is how it looks. It is a bit choppy here, and I tried a bit on the actual 3D with the 3D mouse, and I think it's better. It seems choppier here. Maybe it's my mouse, maybe it's Phoenix. And right now I have put D-pad controls, and the other buttons don't work. But I have 3 types of controls. I'll show you. And I put the left button to shoot and the right button to jump. It is choppy even if the frame rate. I swear it wasn't like this on the actual. I'll still investigate to see what happens. And so here on my projects 3D folder, my projects folder is quite a mess, but recently I moved things on here because I have them on other place. I have the Bizarro engine Untergrund, and the source is here, and here on this side I have port PC. The port 30 base was the project where I would kinda emulate the cell renderer, software rendering on an STL on PC. I made a system where it tries to use the original 3D SDK function, but it's entirely incomplete. It only emulates the ones I'm using, and for audio, because I don't care about audio yet. So that was a 3D SDK function, and I say dummy. Now some of them, I might have copied some code from the SDK. I might have written some of it mine. I might have copied that from the SDK. So I tried to, I redefined some structure, maybe got them from the SDK. So I tried to make it so that, and I use that also for my Bizarro. This is how it started, my Bizarro pod. Data. On this side, you have CD data. So this data and this should be the same, except I don't have, these are the music, the AIF. I don't emulate this anymore because I mostly want to debug the engine and the game. I assume that the audio is gonna be playing. I don't need to emulate the audio right now. But maybe I would need to emulate it if I make a complete PC port that I also release. But now the point of this port on the PC is to be able to write things faster here and also appropriate it as an editor. So I have some editor. This doesn't exist on this side. On the 3DI side I have the common function and the game. And these are also here. And they are roughly, size is a bit different, they are roughly the same. Here I have the 3DO, the SDK and the hardware. And I have also a dummy cell render that renders regular polygons in software rendering and it looks, and also wireframe and stuff, but it doesn't matter now because the goal is that whenever I make a change on the 3DO or on the PC while I debug, I can copy my change on the other side. For example, if I get levels, they are exactly the same. So here you might have some 3DO code. You might have cell CCB and so on. And you're gonna have it here too. It's exactly the same. And it's gonna call, in some cases, it's gonna call 3DO function, and I'm going to emulate them on the PC side so that here is the PC project, so that if I run it, it's gonna be exactly what I would expect. But on an actual PC SDL window with software rendering, with a lot of cell rendering stuff work well, but some of them are broken in my other 3DO experiments. Anyway, so I'm going to start and I'm gonna use my PC mouse. It's much smoother. It is exactly the same, like, because I'm trying to emulate the cell render. If I go close, you see when the issues I have. So I can solve the issues with very close polygon going away. I can do the subdivision to solve the issues on the PC side much easier. Because this is emulate the way the cell renderer works. But I have some funny modes. If I press P, this is a polygon mode. Now this is rendering. It's rendering two triangles, one quad. It's rendering. It's a software render that takes the geometry. It's the dummy cell render that doesn't. And if you press this, you also have the wireframe. You can see here. Now I will improve in the visibility. You can kind of see the visibility. So there are no stars, there are stars. So there's some partial. You see the geometry is not rendered. Where am I? And then it's rendered, but it's too much. I have to put more areas in the visibility algorithm, or maybe try to investigate different algorithm. Anyway, and I think I had the mode. I have the Maria mode. These are on the PC port here, which is so cool. And I have a mode for fun. I always miss it. Yeah. It has to be T. I always miss. Yeah. I have to go to polygon mode and then press texture mode. This is not cell render. This is two triangles, and you see how it's distorted because it's a fine mapping. It's not perspective correct. And I have a fake bilinear filter, software rendering bilinear filter. But this is not essential. Again, this is lighting, no lighting. And now I'm on the cell mode. And the mouse works too. I have to stop showing this thing and go to the main thing. So I was doing things that there is nothing really new from feature side because I was doing a lot of refactoring. For example, I have a game input that's a new one, and I might refactor in different ways. It used to be that the engine view is where I create the viewer, the player. It has some. It has a camera. It has width, height, depth for the collision height. I have function to move viewer, rotate viewer, and if a button is update gravity, all that stuff. If a button is pressed, it will move. So back in the days, inside the engine view, I also had the input for the player. So I did some work to separate it and put it on game input because I realized I used to have one kind of input just with the D-pad and no mouse, but I realized this is gonna be input type A. And I made two more input type bit and type C. It's similar to what I did in Doom. So if I put type A, and that's the same code on the 3DO. In the future you will be able to select it from the... Now when I use the mouse nothing happens. I have to use the keys. Oh, I need to fix something, okay. I know why. I did something else for the PC. Okay. Because I have mapped the buttons, certain buttons for the D-pad, but I don't use the D-pad, I use the keyboard. So on the PC side, this main is on the PC side. By the way, in the game, no, it's not here. It should be here. Main 3DO. This main 3DO is the main here. So here is the 3DO, here is the PC port. Okay. This and this are the same. There are differences. The difference, I call it main 3DO. And here I don't have a header file main. Here I have a main 3DO header file. Just for the function. Because on this side, this main And maybe we should see here. This is the truest. This is where it starts. The SDL. This is my simulator of the 3DO. And I only need to call main 3DO. I might give some callbacks somewhere. Or maybe I didn't do it with callbacks. I had. So I include the game main 3DO. I might include some other things too. And this is where the basic input is for the PC side, for all those buttons that's in. And update 3DO input. I'll take the SDL input and I'll update for you the 3DO struct. Those are the 3DO struct. And now on the SDK, on the event, I guess I have to include back main.h. That's the non-3DO thing, and call update 3DO SDL. So I had to do a connection where I don't need to give callbacks to that's how I did it before, to the main 3DO, to the main of 3DO. I had to give callbacks for input for update. No, the SDK is gonna call my SDL stuff. And because it maps, it says up, down, left, right, is gonna be SDL key down, it's gonna be 3DO joy button up. Now, for example, joy button ABC on 3DO, it's gonna be. No, hold it. Okay. Those are the mappings. I say that ZXC on the keyboard are the ABC, and L bar, R bar is gonna be A and D above. Shift and return is gonna be select start and then the arrow. So you know, if I'm gonna use my mouse and keyboard thing, I on PC I cannot. If I want to move nicer, so I use WAXD controls. I'm gonna improve this. This is only for PC here. If I want to play with WASD AXD, I play with X. That's a big story. I don't play with S. I need to improve it. So I have a fourth kind of control if I want to train on PC. So that's why it didn't work. Okay, I should change that. So if I put force, it's gonna be the 3DO. It's gonna be fully the 3DO. I'm too late again. Okay, the mouse doesn't work. I can move, and now I have ABC, and I can look up, down. How? I hold the C button, hold and now forward back. If I hold C and forward up, I have the mouse look, but of course I cannot move at the same time. So now I locked. It's kind of weird. And there, left, right, the D-pad is. I don't have a run button. And this is okay. This is how I have mapped it on the emulator too, on Phoenix. Maybe I could with SDL I could connect my Xbox controller. That would be fun. But now I switch to that option. I also disable the WXD. So if I want to debug it, I should see if there is some interface to connect my 3DO controller on an actual PC. So now it's type B. Type B, the mouse works. Now when I have disabled, because I have the left mouse button and right mouse button, I have disabled the A, B, C and the left pad, right pad on the controller. I might use it for something else. And I have the regular D-pad, forward, up, left, right is strafe now and not rotate. So I can still play with this one. I don't need the WSD. I can very easily control it. But that's on the keyboard. And my issue is what to do. Is it type C? I'm gonna have option menu where I say this is what I did. So now, again mouse, but forward, but strafe right, left, and left, right on the D-pad, on the controller of the 3DO is going forward up. Why? Because I had a controller set up. You know, I'm gonna find it. Yeah. Okay, I even have. Okay, that's the best. Let's see. Mouse only. I have a mouse only. I have this mouse only where if I move forward back my hand, like the old Doom, it moves forward back. I even put that on Doom. I'm not gonna put this one. Okay. You know, you have to move. It's very okay. Can you show deeper? Do I have two styles or one? So you have to hold the. See how I hold the D-pad. And you normally have to put it on the table. The forward on the D-pad goes forward. The left right on the D-pad strafes left right. But I had an idea for a third control because now, and maybe I show that here. Yeah, and I'm saying, look, what if you want to do you stick it with some sellotape on the? What if you want to use it on the table? It's not a keyboard to play like WX. You have to either hold it. So wait, input mouse. I put some input with ABC something. I have more controls. D-pad Y. I rotate it and hold it vertically. Do you see how I hold it? Forward. That's why. So I tilted 90 degrees there. So you could hold it firmly with your hands. Of course, when I hold it firmly, I have disabled the other buttons, especially the L pad and the pads, because you could accidentally press it. So the idea was that use it like it was a Wii controller, you know, and you hold it vertically. And that's my favorite way to play. So this is what I'm trying to do here. This right now, this style, the vertical hold is the type C, the horizontal is the type B. Someone might want to play in a way that the D-pad makes sense and maybe stick it to the table. I need to see. I had an ABC control. What was that? Was it B was forward and AC was left right? Strafe left, straight right, and yeah, we don't care about going backwards. I don't know. Or maybe I have one of the buttons for. Yeah, so that was the idea. I took it from my implementation in Doom. If there was a 3DO keyboard, okay. Because if you have type B, it might be a bit hard. Maybe not so. You can hold your controller with your left hand, or stick it in the table somehow. Type A is full control, and there's a struggle what I should do with if I need more buttons, which I definitely will, unless I do some combination. Right now, if you hold C and move forward back, it looks up down. Now, I could do if you hold C and press left right to swap weapons. But I have another idea. I'm going to make an inventory where the game will be paused. Not exactly like not a weapon wheel, that is. It could also be a weapon wheel. I'll see. Maybe you don't need it. I want to do this for another reason. I might plan to do some inventory where you could craft things with the gems. That's one idea. Anyway, I have a lot of ideas, and maybe I should finish with this video. I'll show you the one more thing I'm doing. I need now, because these are just with some variables, I will need to do some setter getters for this variable, and I need to add the mouse sensitivity because I implement something else yesterday, and what I implement is okay. Now yes, I implement that. Now I have the other I have the D-pad controls now. I don't have the mouse. It doesn't matter. I implement this. And this is working project. If I press select, I'm on the menu. I might do something here where it says invert Y. Yeah, I want to do an in-game menu, and I'm gonna change a lot of things, of course. It's not gonna be this thing now where you have the Bizarro Untergrund and everything. It's gonna be a small window that will maybe with some border in front of the game, maybe with a transparent border or something. And it's not gonna go in this because you don't want to be able to change the level and the difficulty here. It's gonna be an options menu. Maybe I'll see how. Maybe it's not gonna have that. Maybe it's gonna have a start and then you select the level, or maybe it's gonna have the select level difficulty instead, and an options menu first. I need to decide that, and I'm gonna change the font. I'm gonna try to do some or see where I can get some Doom-like fonts or maybe bigger with a certain style. Even the logo, I'm not sure about it. I use some kind of generator at the time to get something fast. So if I press select, it even holds the time you post it. So see that the game time doesn't move forward, so it's good. And I'm gonna have an options menu here that will go in another screen, and that's where you have invert. I will add the type of controls. Probably I will have some illustration with what it means as you switch through the three types, and mouse slider. And maybe when I get in option, I'll have controls. I will have rendering options, other kinds of options. I'll see. Maybe a save load if I decide to allow you to save. Maybe it's gonna be a save at the end of the level or something. I'll see if I implement a save spam or something at the end of the level. And that's the goal. So that works. So that's the other thing I was refactoring things so that I could do that. My lame menu code is here. I really need to work with this. Now before I finish, I have other considerations. Do you see the editor here? These are things that are only on the PC ports. The visibility is something that I always calculated here. So for example, if I run the game, I need to move the window and I'm hiding the mouse. Let's put the third level. I'm gonna press F5 and you will see on the DOSBox window I have the block. I am using a visibility I calculated before. But if I press F5, you see it's from every block I have split the level in some areas, 32 areas only, but I'm gonna increase this. I'm gonna look at better ways to do visibility, to calculate it, and I think I'm storing from if the player is in a block, which are the areas in the level, the way I split them, that are visible. And each area is a different mesh, so the level is made of different meshes. But I used a 32-bit number, and every bit, 32 bits, and every bit was a different area. So based on the bit, I could say, okay, from this block I can look at area 1, 7, and 11, for example. So the bits 1, 7, and 11 would be on. But I might need it in a different way so that without losing much more memory per block. Maybe I won't lose memory per block. Maybe I would have an offset pointer to some other array that points on things. And now this is finished. I might do it in a way that I allow for more than 32 unique areas, and I might try to split it with some, I don't know, some quadtree or something, so that the visibility is a bit better, because there are big areas that are visible while they shouldn't, and that would improve. Now when I did this, I might see if I can optimize this, because even for me it's hard. Here it created this visibility. It's 130, because this 128k, if you divide it by 4, is 32. So I'm 32 by 32 by 32. The grid map is 32 by 32 by 32 blocks in all directions. And I think that's okay. Now I generate this one, but this one is, I already generated them once here. The thing is, if I make my editor and I move around and I start digging the blocks or adding blocks like it's some Minecraft, I'm gonna make a separate part that's gonna be only PC. It's not gonna be on the 3DO, where it will be more convenient for me to edit. Then when I save, it's gonna generate the visibility. It's gonna, now the light is empty here. This is a to do. The save is here. I have commented out some struct, because I want to save the file, some struct for the file. I was planning to save more information, like the lights and other things, instead of generating the light on the 3DO. That's why you have the long loading on the 3DO. Now the visibility takes much more. The visibility, if you see here, when I start, you will see the white bars very fast. the lighting is much faster the way I'm doing it. So I could do it on the 3DO. The visibility would take 5 minutes on 3DO. Or even more. I mean, it takes 5 minutes here. It could take an hour. Unless I do less step for the visibility. Or I do it in another way. I might not be doing it. So that's working pro. I'm planning to change. That's the one big thing I haven't done. To change the structure of the data. Instead of generating them. Actually, the blocks are generated on the 3DO in the same way. So here on level, this in-game level, this exists here and on the 3DO. I did it procedurally. This is running on the 3DO too. I filled the solid box. There are procedural functions that it fills the 32 by 32 by 32 with something, and then I'm drawing smaller empty boxes and spheres and other stuff. I'm digging the area by hand. I did it very procedural at the time. And the map noises, when I add the gems and the lights and the bounce and the... So I go through the already that big 32 by 32 by 32 where I dug stuff and I'm adding the extra stuff. I'm adding a bit of, with some randomizing, a bit of gems, the lights, those flowers that makes you bounce and so on. So this is gonna go away. I was doing things for the game jam procedure because I'm gonna make an editor where I move around and create the level, and then this is only the visibility I did on PC. This is not gonna be that. This is gonna be bigger. It's gonna be a bigger data structure. But it's not gonna be bigger on the 3DO memory because I already constructed on the 3DO memory. It's gonna be bigger as a file, and then I'm gonna load the thing I'm doing manually here. I'm gonna load, so everything will be prepared. But there are some challenges. I need to see how. I thought I would repurpose this. I thought like, oh, I can even run this now and have a button that tries to dig this block, so I could use this on the PC on an editor mode. But right now I cannot do because all this geometry is static. I read the blocks one and I generated the mesh. And if I delete a block, I have to regenerate the mesh again. Maybe it's fast if I add or delete. So maybe I'll think of another way to make my editor like a real Minecraft, fly around and like in Minecraft where you fly around and you design things, you erase blocks and you add blocks. And I need to think how to paint the areas if I'm going to split the areas manually and say, okay, for the visibility. So there is a lot of work here when I reach that. I might still be doing game functions now. And I had a dilemma about changing the structure in ways that needs a lot of refactoring. So there are many things. I have ideas then. I stopped doing the refactoring and started adding things so that I'm maybe motivated to work on simple things and I'll come back. In the worst case scenario, I would be like, you know what? Let's continue this for 10 levels. Let's manually do some more levels and release it. But I want to make the editor. And there is a lot of things I find around that I say, okay, this needs to be refactored a bit. But anyway, guys, I think I'll stop this now so that it doesn't get bigger. I had a plan in this video to open the editor and to open some code, maybe open the menu and try to add the new options menu. But I think it's better to not do this in this video. It's more my thoughts, what I've done. I guess I have the press select. I'm gonna use start to open inventory that it might also allow you I might make a crafting system where you are collecting those gems, but maybe you can use them to build I don't know, a new weapon or something. I'll think about it. This is a bit I have to work on the gameplay and balance it. It's not an easy. I'm excited every time I run it. I'm excited. I think you have to put type B. I even like I don't need WSD. Think about. This is the most complex one. Look at that. Okay, I guess I need to do something with my visibility thing. Those shouldn't be visible. There's a reason why these are still visible, and the reason is I cannot do any more. Now I can do it. I had some buttons for fly, but it's tied to hold shift, and the thing is because I opened the hole here in that area, this will also be visible. Maria effect, you can also see. I'm excited every time I see it. It just needs work. I need to take decision, refactoring some things. One thing is the data structure. One thing that I will not, I would have to store those things, not do it manually, procedure like this, but store them. Have an editor where I insert and delete the blocks, and it's gonna reconstruct the thing, and it's gonna save the whole blocks, lighting, and visibility in one thing that's gonna be loading. I need to work on the visibility to make it not take time forever to generate. Previously, I tried with the visibility on PC. I tried to use OpenMP to multi-core it, but it broke everything. The way I have written, I need to see that the multi-core wasn't working very well because yeah, I might have to go for some works to finish and see at which data I operate. That's okay. These are things in progress. Just that at this point, I have many consideration, and it's gonna take some time till I reach it in a point that I will be able to work well enough and start building the game. But I might be building parts of the game for fun and inspiration while I decide to refactor things. I don't know. Anyway, guys, bye. I'm gonna stop it now because I think it's longer than it should. Bye.